The Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, the first chapter. Glory to you, Lord. As soon as Jesus and his disciples left the synagogue, they entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they told Jesus about her at once. He came and took her by the hand and lifted her up. Then the fever left her, and she began to serve them. That evening at sundown, they brought to him all who were sick or possessed with demons. And the whole city was gathered around the door, and he cured many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak, because they knew him. In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up and went to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon and his companions hunted for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is searching for you." He answered, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns, so that I may proclaim the message there also. For that is what I came out to do." And he went out throughout Galilee, proclaiming the message in their synagogues and casting out demons. The Gospel of the Lord. Today's Gospel has a lot of good in it, a lot of healing, and a lot of miracles. A lot of the stuff of Jesus that I want to believe in. You know, all that stuff that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. And yet, I can't get past the demons, which is probably true for me on a literal level as well as a figurative level. Demons are what trip us up most of the time, aren't they? Well, usually I have questions for Jesus when I read the Bible. But today's biblical reading leaves me with questions for the demons in the story, because they seem to hold a truth that I want or that I need, and one that Jesus doesn't want me to know, which just makes me more curious. In our Bible passage it says, Jesus would not allow the demons to speak because they knew him. Hence my desire to interview the demons. But there is one minor problem. The concept of demons sort of creeps me out. I mostly try to avoid forming any type of theological or philosophical opinion on them because, well, I mean, you know, demons, they conjure up all sorts of exorcist stuff in my mind. However, despite my reservations, the Gospel of Mark starts off hard and heavy with demons. There is no way around them, which is probably how Jesus felt most of the time. So I'm back to the best way of dealing with this is to go straight to the source and interview a demon. So you're going to have to forgive my creative license since I'm getting true demons to actually answer my, this is better, I had a teddy bear earlier. Any true demons to actually answer my question, I had to make some educated and theological guesses and use my imagination, so I suppose you will have to do. I hope you don't find this a rude question as my opening question out of the gate, but you don't look much like a demon.
I mean, they are pretty adorable. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. See, Hollywood has done us nothing but favors by always picturing us with these big giant horns and these wide scary eyes and these flowing ethereal capes. It's not how it is at all. I mean, it would be pretty counterproductive to let people know what we really look like right off the bat and how hateful and manic and sinister we really are. No one would give us the time of day. Humanity is intelligent, but we found it works better if we disguise ourselves as tempting and lovely and erotic things. Basically, we're opportunists.
Okay, next question. Do you have any superpowers, and if so, what are they?
Of course I have superpowers. I mean, I have to take on Jesus on a regular basis. I can't possibly defeat all that he's got going on without some sort of divine help. Well, yeah, about that. Well, alright, so I have a few talents, but my most enviable superpower is that I can be invisible. People don't see me coming. Don't even know I'm there until it's too late, and by then I already have my hooks in.
Well, since you brought up divine help, what in the world were you thinking rebelling against God? You knew you'd get kicked out, right?
All right, first, don't confuse me with Satan. I mean, he's my bro, but the guy who actually started the rebellion and got kicked out of heaven, I'm not entirely sure what all of his issues are with God, but it boils down to this. God made humankind in God's image. These people who don't have any superpowers, they're weak, they're prone to brokenness, so easily gullible. God created them to be like God. That didn't sit well with Satan, and it doesn't really sit well with me either. Now, I realize this is going to sound a little juvenile, but what about us? I mean, God had to go and create this whole other host of people that he claimed as his children. These so-called children of God, they could have been slaves to us. But God didn't see it that way. So we took matters into our own hands, and we just do our best to enslave whoever we can. But Jesus is our constant vex.
I am sure he is. All right, so most of what you've told me, I already sort of suspected. But I do have two very pressing questions based on a story from the Bible. Maybe you know it. So the story goes like this. Jesus left the synagogue in Capernaum and planned to briefly stop at Simon's house. And he found Simon's mother-in-law. She was really, really, really sick, and he cured her. And because of this, the people in the town brought all of those who were sick or possessed with demons to Jesus.
Yep, I remember that story well. Quite a night. Although, truth be told, I'm always kind of on my toes when Jesus is around.
Okay, well good. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about because I'm so curious. Why didn't Jesus let you guys say anything? Why keep it a secret? Plus, why would you say anything? Wouldn't it just defeat your mission to sing Jesus' praises?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, and I am a demon, remember, so I'll remind you, you can never really be quite sure. But if I'm being honest, I'll point this out. Jesus does a pretty decent job of kicking our butts on a daily basis, and the people see and experience his power over us. Why would they believe anything we have to say, even if it is true? Basically, Jesus sees us as terrible evangelists.
Okay, well, if you admit that Jesus has great power over you, then why hang out where Jesus is? Why stick around when he shows up?
We don't hang out where Jesus is. He is always hanging out where we are. It's actually quite annoying. Take Capernaum, for instance. Everything was going swimmingly. Fevers, possessions, illness, brokenness. Solid stuff, really. And then he shows up. He ruins the party every time.
Every time? I can think of plenty of times Jesus didn't show up, didn't perform a miracle, didn't hear a prayer. I think every time is an exaggeration, and I'm a fan of Jesus.
I am not a fan of Jesus either, and I'll tell you straight up, you're wrong. I mean, the stories I could tell you, the things I've seen him do, but I'll give you a few little teasers. I was once a chronically ill child, and Jesus showed up. I started shaking my boots and told her that he loved her. Not at all what I expected. You should have seen her face. Another time, I saw Jesus just sitting there in the dark, and he was all like brooding and depressed, and he just sat there for weeks on everything. Never left his side. Never left him alone. And another time, I saw him climb into a hospital bed and silently weep as he listened to the family say goodbye. There's no resuscitation or miracle moment, but Jesus cried. Your Savior, the one who created the universe, cried. I mean, even I think that's kind of breathtaking. Remember earlier when you asked me about my superpowers?
Yeah.
My cronies and I have been at this battle with Jesus for eons. We do know him. We've seen what he can do. And, I mean, it's impressive, but because this is an exclusive interview, I'll let you in on this secret, but I'm going to deny it later if anyone asks. Okay, so sure, Jesus can rise from the dead, but that isn't his superpower. You guys get it all muddled up when you start wishing for these, like, supernatural miracles. That's not really how he operates most of the time. I mean, this whole, like, messianic secret, Jesus' superpowers are love and presence and compassion. Nothing more. Nothing less.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can't exactly put that on prime time or Netflix or YouTube. Nobody's going to think that love, presence, and compassion are superpowers.
You said you didn't want to know why Jesus didn't. You said you wanted to know why Jesus didn't let us speak. I told you, and you still don't believe me. Guess Jesus knew what he was doing. But I met the man who's touched your demons, and the few things I can't defeat are love and presence and compassion. And honestly, it's okay with me if this interview never airs and you don't think that it's like good enough. The fewer people that know about Jesus, the easier it is for me.
You know we've read the book. We know how it ends. You guys lose.
Touche. You can't blame a demon for trying, though.